Hi everyone, welcome to Korean Express YouTube channel. So here comes the part 2 of our video series in which we are learning about the most common Korean counters. In each video of the series, we'll explore different Korean counters, understand their meanings and learn how to use them in example sentences. Okay? So, if you have not watched the first part of the series yet, then you can go and watch it on Korean Express YouTube channel. I'm also going to share the link of the first part in the description also. So you don't have to worry. Just go through the video and it will be very interesting and helpful for you to learn this amazing concept of Korean language, that is the Korean counters. Okay, now let's begin with the second part. So first is the counter for cars and machines. That is the. The. Now the is used to count vehicles such as cars or buses and machines like computers, refrigerators, etc. Okay, so the counter word for vehicles and machines is the. Right? Now, here are a couple of examples so that you can understand how to use it in Korean sentences. The first one is I bought two cars. Now in Korean it is 저는 자두 대 샀어요. Here car is 자 and two is 둘. Right? Here we are using the pure Korean numbers with this counter. And to count cars or any vehicle, we use the Korean counter the. So first comes the noun that we are counting, then comes the number, and then the counter word. We already know this format. We have discussed this format in the previous part of the series also, okay, in the part 1 of the series. So you can go through it if you want to know in detail about how to use counters. I'm just giving a quick recap about the format for using a counter. First comes the noun, then the number, and then the counter word for that noun. Okay, so two cars is 차두대, right? And to buy is 사다, past tense 샀어요. Next is my friend has four computers. 저희 친구는 컴퓨터 네 있어요. Here, the noun that you are counting is computer. So computer in Korean, it is a loan word, computer. Four is 네. And because we are counting a machine, we have to use the counter word 대. computer 네 대. Okay? So this is how it works. It is very easy. Just remember the counter word, remember the format for using it in sentences, and you'll be able to form sentences quickly, right? Now let's see the next counter word, and that is the counter for age. 살, 살. This is a very important counter as it is used to count someone's age. Let's see some examples to understand more clearly. My younger sister is 7 years old. In Korean it is 저희 여동생은 7살이에요. Here we are talking about my younger sister. 저희 여동생. This much is clear? Now you have to say 7 years. So 7 is 일곱. And as I said, the counter for age is 살. Now 살 is combined with the verb ida. Why? Ida is to be something or someone. So to be 7 years old, we have to use this verb ida. Okay, so in present tense it becomes sariyeo, right? Here also first comes the noun that you're counting. So you're counting the age of your sister. So first comes the sister, 여동생. Then comes the number, 일곱. And then the counter, for age, that is sal. And did you get why we used ida here? Ida is used to indicate that your sister is 7 years old, right? So that's why we have used ida here in the present tense. Next is I am 22 years old. 저는 22살이에요. Here we are talking about myself, I. So I is the noun that you are counting. You're counting the age. So age is 22. 22 in Korean is 22. And the counter for age, 살, either verb is used, 살이에요. Okay? Next and very important sentence. How old are you? This is a very commonly asked question when you are talking to someone who is your friend or some stranger or someone you know, and you're asking, how old are you? So you should know how to say this particular sentence or question in Korean language. And it's very easy. 몇 살이에요? 몇 살이에요? Here, 몇 is indicating how. Okay, I'm not going in detail, in depth of this particular word myon because it has a very deep concept in it. I'm not talking about that. For now, just remember that here 몇 살이에요? 몇 indicates how. Okay, so how old are you? 몇 살이에요? Right? This is how it works. Very important sentence in Korean. In any language, if you're learning any other language also, it is a very important sentence to learn. Right? It is a commonly asked question. Now let's look at the next counter word, and that is the counter for bottles. Pyong. So pyong is used to count bottles of liquids such as water or soda or alcohol. Okay? So if you're counting the bottles, you use the counter word pyong for that. Let's look at the examples. I drank 3 bottles of water. 저는 물 3병 마셨어요. So here we are counting the number of bottles of water. So water is 물. 3 bottles, 세 병. Okay, first comes the noun water, then the number 3, and then the counter word for bottles 병. 물 3병. Okay, to drink 마시다 past tense 마셨어요. Next is Kim bought 5 bottles of soju. 김은 소주 5병 샀어요. Here we are counting the number of bottles of soju. So soju, that is the noun, 5, 5, and the counter word for bottles, 병. Okay? It is very easy. Just know the counter word, apply, and frame the sentence. Okay? Now let's see the fourth counter. That is the counter for time. Now here by time, I mean when you have to say time in o'clock format, right? 5 o'clock, 7 o'clock, that. So if you're talking about time in that way, then you use the counter 시. 시 is the counter word that is used to tell the time in the format when you're talking about hours on the clock. Okay, let's look at the examples to understand this more clearly. I will go to the park at 6 o'clock. Okay, so here in Korean it is 저는 공원에 6시에 갈 거예요. Here we are talking about the time 6 o'clock. So 6 o'clock in Korean is first comes the number 6, 여섯. Then you have to indicate it using the counter for time, and that is 시. So 6시. Now, here I've used the particle a because we are talking about a particular time. Okay, so here a is used as a time marking particle. We have already discussed about this particle. If you don't know how to use a as a time marking particle, then you can go on Korean Express YouTube channel and see the complete video series in which I discussed about this particle a. Okay. Next is I ate breakfast at 9 o'clock. 저는 아침 식사 9시에 먹었어요. Here we are talking about the time 9 o'clock. 9 is 아홉. O'clock, C. Okay, again we are talking about a particular time and therefore we have attached the particle a to C. Okay, 아홉시에. Now let's look at the last counter word of this video. That is the counter for hours. Okay, here when we are talking about duration, time duration in hours, then we use the counter 시간. It is used to count hours in terms of duration or how long something takes. For example, you have to say, I slept for 10 hours yesterday. Okay, so here we are talking about the time duration of 10 hours. In Korean, it is 저는 어제 10시간 동안 잤어요. So yesterday is 어제. 10 is 열. Now here, when we are talking about time duration, we use the counter 시간, not C. Don't get confused. C is used when you want to indicate time in terms of o'clock, right? 7 o'clock, 9 o'clock. When you're talking about time duration, we use 시간 for hours. Okay? So 10 hours, 10시간. For 10 hours, 10시간 동안. Now, 동안 is a word that is used to indicate time duration. If you don't know the concept for using this word in sentences, then don't worry, I'll share the link of the video in which I explained about this word 동안 in the description. So you don't have to worry about the concept behind using this word. Okay? Next example is my brother studied English for an hour. 저희 형은 영어 1시간 동안 공부했어요. Here, my brother is 저희 형은. 형 I have used in respect of the subject in the sentence being a man or male and he is referring to his elder brother, 형. Okay? English is 영어. An hour. So an hour means 1 hour. One is 한. Hour, 시간. For an hour, 1시간 동안. Okay, to study 공부하다 past tense 공부했어요. So this is how we use the counter 시간 in sentences to indicate duration when we are talking about hours. Okay? Alright, so in this video we learned 5 Korean counters that are very important and commonly used. I hope you liked this video. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe Korean Express YouTube channel. Thank you.